Hi, everybody. It's Bill Brockrader, aka Bill Wood, and Eva Moore, and we are doing a video piece today to introduce people to some new information that I've received. It's going to be some very hard to hear information and something that has been wildly prepped for disinfo, and
I think, yeah, and I think that at the same time, there's been always this background of wonderment and questioning lingering. So it's an interesting topic we have to share with everyone. Thanks for your patience, and thanks for being diligent, trying to figure out where this video was. So here it is.
Just to give everybody some background, this information came from the same source that has been directing me and giving me guidance throughout this process, and it is the same source that has led me on the path to be in discussions with Project Camelot originally and David Wilcock, and as of late, Drake. And it's going to be some pretty earth-shattering information, so let's get into it. The information that I got centered around the mass arrests and what's going to be occurring, not necessarily details of who's on the list and who's not, but one individual in particular was addressed, and I was a little overwhelmed to get the information myself. So I'll kind of lay it all out and give you the argument, and everybody can use their own discernment to figure out if this rings true for everybody. I've got my notes here, so I'm going to get started. A critical event just occurred in the past couple of weeks. I'm sure everybody's familiar with the Secret Service sex scandal in Colombia, where the Secret Service prep team and several high-ranking members of the military were basically outed in the public for using prostitutes and drinking and a whole bunch of nefarious stuff. Let me just say that was very much the public story. What was happening on behind the scenes was a lot different, however. Basically, this was kind of the final stage in a very long process that President Obama has been undertaking since he took office in 2008. He promised to be the president of change and wanted to make a difference in this world, and was very determined when he took office to do this. But I think he was impressed to find out that even the office of the president couldn't make the changes and didn't have the control necessary to fulfill those promises right out of the gate. We've had a tremendous amount of scandal and disinformation put out about the president, and a lot of information that undermines the mission that he was trying to undertake. Originally started out with Obamacare and the birth certificate, and getting people kind of off track of what needed to be done. I think soon after that, the president figured out that this was going to be a much longer, harder road than he anticipated, and so he has been working very diligently to undertake this mission. What most people don't understand is that the things that have been put out in the news, the steps that have been taken have been wildly changed as far as their information and content to distract people from what was really going on. I think the first thing to point out about Obamacare and the changes that undermine that effort were the Republican Party's amendment to instill the individual mandate of that legislation. And I am sure that legislation was, or that amendment was enacted to put a wrench in the works of what would later be determined and wildly publicized as a problem with the whole system. What isn't reported is the fact that it was the Senate and the House of Representatives, the Republicans in the middle of it, that were kind of causing the problems to undermine the legislation. The legislation did undermine a very powerful group of individuals in Washington, not the Senate, not the House, and not the presidency. It was the lobbying groups for the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies who stood to lose billions by having healthcare run properly. And by run properly, I mean that right now our healthcare system is run to maximize the profits for the companies involved in healthcare,
including
pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies. The way that the healthcare system should be run is to maximize the health of all the citizens of America. Unfortunately, that would undermine also the profits of the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies. So now the legislation is popularly painted as Obamacare, and yet it didn't turn out anything close to what he was trying to enact. So we move on to the subject of NDAA. It's also a piece of legislation that was created and produced by the Senate and the House of Representatives. But I do need to point out that even though the news and media have wildly publicized this as something that would strip the individual rights of citizens, it does do something else. It makes it so the cabal members, the corporations, the industries, and the money that control this country and moreover the world could be arrested and could be held and wouldn't be able to use their billions of dollars and army of lawyers to get them out of it. Another new development that's come along is the executive order for national defense resource preparedness. Also something that is critical to being able to keep the country and the world secure during the process of the mass arrests. Certainly, we need to understand that during this process, all of the utilities, the internet, the electricity, the gas, the water, the sewage, need to stay up and running. And with mass hysteria, panics, and riots, that would definitely undermine the efforts that are trying to be involved, and people would quickly lose sight of what was really going on, which was the dark forces and the industries and the companies that from behind the scenes control the House, the Senate, the branch of the judiciary under the Supreme Court, all the way down to the local court levels, could be co-opted and run simply because of the money that they produce. Citizens United was another situation which allowed industries and companies to get the rights of citizens. And that is not the way it's supposed to be, and I think we're all familiar with that. I think the easiest way for everybody to understand things is that the presidency, as powerful a position as it is, I think most people misunderstand that he should be able to do anything and make things right, and that is not possible. So the presidency and his advisors and the people that he surrounds himself with undertook a very interesting mission to try to organize things in the span of 4 years to be able to enact some changes in this nation and hopefully have those changes spread out to the world. And the things that are being talked about now are those changes coming into effect. The latest step in this process was the newest executive order, which rejoined the U.S. in the International Criminal Court. And made it so that the U.S. would be enforcing international laws as opposed to just U.S. laws. And I think everybody needs to understand how important that is to the process, because we have plenty of forces outside of this country that need to be taken care of in this process, not just inside the United States, but outside. So a lot of what's been happening inside of the presidency has seemed destructive and, moreover, cooperative for the dark forces and the companies and industries that promote war and continue the enslavement of the human race. And unfortunately, or fortunately for us, unfortunately for them, President Obama's cards are kind of out and on the table now. And final steps are being made to be able to demonstrate that. So if you don't want to trust me, if you don't want to believe me, that's very much okay, because the proof is in the pudding, and some things are going to be going down very shortly that people need to understand are going to be steps that the media and companies and industries are going to try to co-opt and corrupt and change the public's opinion to keep us in fear and keep us afraid of these changes and make us believe that the changes that are about to take place are going to be ones that turn us into a society that is ruled by this dark overlord, President Obama. And I just have been given all the evidence to say that that is not going to be the case. He is going to come out. He is going to be very vocal very soon about the changes that are going to take place, and it's going to be some night and day differences. The first step that everybody kind of needs to pay attention to is the NATO summit in Chicago and the G8 summit at Camp David. Those will be the initial arenas where the controlling influences in government throughout the world are going to be called to the carpet, and they're going to be told that the game's over and changes are going to happen, and there's nothing that can be done about it, and they need to let go and give up. The mass resignations that everybody has been aware of as of late are the people that have been warned and decided that they're done and they want to get out of the fight, and they don't want to be part of the system of control anymore. Certainly, there is a lot of evidence to back this up if you choose to take a look at it. When I was back in 2008, when President Obama got elected, I had a thought in my mind of how he was an idiot for even thinking about being the president, because that role would be just impossible, that the task that he was thinking about undertaking. And certainly that's proven true. He's been vilified on many, many levels by the media and industry, and co-opting, how do I want to say this?
In regards to that.
Good-natured citizens that wanted to see change and were duped into believing that he was the reason that change wasn't going to happen. Massive amounts of effort have been put into this, but over and over again we've seen some obvious results of what that undertaking has taken place. The biggest understanding is that since 2009, we've heard the doom and gloom message over and over and over again. We've gotten several instances throughout the past 3 years of possibilities of a destructive future. but it's safe to